On show 418, Kona production goes down, Volkswagen's new hybrid, and a second use for Audi batteries. Well, those stories and many more coming up on the show today. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, in fact, wherever you're listening around the world. Welcome to EV News Daily, your Sunday edition, 17th of March. Happy St. Patrick's Day if you are celebrating that. My name is Martyn Lee, and I've been through every EV story that I can find today and picked out the best ones. And of course, we have your answers to question of the week. I love it. It's your bit of the show. We have them coming at the end. You join me on location today. It's never a glamorous location. Actually, a couple of weeks ago, I was on holiday, on vacation, on the island of Malta, where it's always sunny, and it rained for me. No, today I'm in a car park at pretty late at night. I'm on a charger, which if you're in the UK, you'll know the Polar network. So I'm halfway through a long journey, and we have the podcast to record, and so no rest for the wicked. There's always something to do, and that includes even a 20-minute, a half-hour stop, grab a coffee, and record the podcast for you. Welcome to two new Patreon supporters. It's why I work so hard on this podcast, by the way. I know what you're thinking. It's not work, and it's not hard. But it's why I put so much time into it, because of your support, and I take that very seriously. Producer Paul Ridings joins up, and a new executive producer who is Jill Smith. Thank you, Jill Smith. If you follow Jill on Twitter, she has a new account called EV Plug and Play. I like that. Hello as well to a couple of new EV clubs starting here in the UK. Quick plug for them. Darren Sant has been driving an EV since 2016 and just launched the Yorkshire EV Club. He's launched it on Facebook and Twitter. If you're on Twitter, you can follow him at EV Yorkshire. First meeting for them, Sunday 28th of April in a place called Hull. And I got an email from Paul as well. Now, Paul's organising an event again here in the UK. Tickets have gone live this weekend for Electric Vehicles Festival, the EV Festival at the British Motor Museum. That's going to be in this summer, the 28th of July. That's a Sunday. And anyone with a full electric car can bring their vehicle along and display it amongst any others in the grounds of the museum. And that's price to go along includes full entry into the museum as well. Hey, thank you as always to myev.com for helping make this show, and they are building the world's first marketplace for buying and selling only EVs and none of that fossil trash. Let's start with Hyundai and a story that really blew up on Sunday today, and that is Hyundai cutting production, or slashing production, as one headline said, of the Kona Electric. Now, that's kind of strange, because this is one of the best EVs on the market, full stop, in the world, and everyone who owns one raves about it. I'd love one. They're in short supply. We're led to believe they're making as many as possible. So what's behind the story? Well, Tom Maloney for InsideEVs.com says, I was pleased to see the Hyundai Kona Electric production numbers, the monthly production numbers, raising significantly last fall/autumn and eclipsing the previous benchmark, 5,300 units for both November and December. It's not stellar, but over 5,000 a month for any non-Tesla company, basically. It's pretty good for EV production numbers, actually. I think it's very good. It was starting to look like Hyundai were really trying to meet the global demand for the Kona Electric. A great car, long range, full of tech, great crossover size, affordable. I know, look, it's not cheap, but I'll use the word affordable for those that are in the market for it. But the first 2 months of this year have been a different story. In 2019, Hyundai produced only 3,074 Kona Electrics in January, and then that was cut by a third, 2,168 in February. Even if you combine production of those 2 months, that doesn't even add up to the November or December production total. So what gives, asks Inside EVs. Well, they've asked Hyundai for comment, and as soon as they get any feedback, I'll let you know. Until then, it's all speculation. What's going on? Could it be a normal cycle of production? That would be very sad if they had to divert attention away to make other cars. You would think there is a dedicated EV team, for instance, who have been trained to make these cars. I do know that global battery supply is enormously limited at the moment. Could that be an issue here? You think they have the Kona uses LG Chem batteries. And again, I've seen some people online today saying, well, the e-Niro is selling loads at the moment, and I know what's happened. I reckon it's because they're using all the batteries for that. Look, they use a different battery. Just because they're both called 64 kilowatt hour size and they're both made in South Korea, don't confuse yourself. Look into the details of it and you'll find that LG Chem provide Hyundai for the Kona and SK Innovation provide the cells, the batteries for the Kia e-Niro, so I don't think it's anything to do with the two sister companies. Of course, the e-Niro itself, by the way, is completely supply restrained. Don't get me started, because they've taken it off sale here in the UK. The waiting list got so long, you can put your name down for one now. But anyway, let's get back to the Kona. What's going on there? They've been asked for comment. When Inside EVs hears back, I'll let you know. Obviously, it's disappointing. We don't know the reasons behind it, because it's a car that is on many people's wish list, and many people would love one sitting outside their house and in their driveway. Me too. Plenty of people have got one already and rave about them. We'd love to see more being made, and when we get an update, I'll let you know. Once you get an EV, of course, then you want to charge it as quick as possible, and those Korean cars, the Hyundais and the Kias, can charge about 72-ish kilowatts. It's limited really by the pack amperage. It's how much current you can get into the pack, by the way. They do use this phrase, when connected to a 100 kilowatt charger. It does not mean they can charge at 100 kilowatts. They're simply restrained by the voltage of the pack, I gather, and the current that you can get into it. Anyway, Dutch company Fastned aren't into 100 kilowatt, they're into 175 kilowatt chargers. Nice and quick, right? They've got ambitious goals to build a European network of 1,000 fast charging stations, and they're approaching 10% of the plan. They've got 88 stations up and running, says Mark Kane for Inside EVs. Most recently, Fastned won a new tender, their second tender here in the UK, 5 more charging stations. Fastned said this, and I quote, Fastned will bring and operate 5 fast charging stations. They call them hubs for electric vehicles across the region. Each station will have 2 50 kilowatt fast chargers, which are the rapid speed, and then they'll deliver 100% renewable energy. Hopefully they'll be upgraded in the future. I would add to that my personal comment being, if you have 2 chargers next to each other, can you call that a hub? I mean, you can call it 2 chargers. Okay, my tongue is slightly in my cheek here, but I'm kind of serious as well. Like, you can't really call it a charging hub. There's 2 of them. Kind of hub, I think of, well, maybe 6 or 8 or 10 or 12, or a bank of superchargers. Anyway, it's good news they're being installed, and it's a sign of how far we've come. My goodness, the last 12 months has been crazy. It's a sign of how far we've come, but that when you read that someone's putting in 50 kilowatt chargers, and I get disappointed, because I thought, they're going to be really quick ones. Maybe they'll be updated at some point in the future. You never know. But look, I think it's a sign of how far we've come, that actually that speed is now, I kind of see it and I go, oh man, I wish they were quicker. Moving on to Volkswagen and the GTEs from Volkswagen. I've always had a bit of a soft spot for, because I remember watching the Golf GTE fully charged video with Robert Llewellyn when I've had a series of Golfs in my life, and I always thought, maybe I'll go for a Golf GTE. So I watched that video that he made probably more times than was healthy. I was thinking, oh man, maybe I buy one. In the end, of course, I came to my senses and bought a full electric car. But listen, I know that's not for everybody, and some people want a hybrid, and so the new GTE, I thought they were killing off the GTEs, and so I was delighted to see they're updating the Volkswagen Passat, which is a nice big car. You get the estate version, what you might call the wagon version, depending on where you're listening around the world, and it returns with some upgrades. The new Volkswagen Passat GTE has got a bigger 13 kilowatt hour battery, and look, I think for a hybrid, a plug-in hybrid, 13 kilowatt hour is kind of the sweet spot for this year, next year, maybe the year after. It'll do a lot of commuting around town on nice, silent, clean energy. It's got 31% more energy than the previous version, which was less than 10 kilowatt hours, I think. It'll do 34 miles, that's 55 Ks on electric alone. System output, 160 kilowatts. It's got a 1.4 gas, petrol, turbocharged engine when it does have to kick in. The thing about these hybrids is they've got to charge somewhere. A lot of people don't want to spend money on a cable, and they don't come with a cable as far as I know. So people end up using rapid chargers because they're tethered. They haven't got a cable in their boot, and so they go, I'm just going to go to a charger that's got a cable attached, a tethered cable. And they tend to be rapids. And these hybrids, they can normally charge pretty slowly. Like these Volkswagen, this is the new GTE, upgraded. It still only charges at 3.6 kilowatts, which, if you are plugging in, if you've got a hybrid and you don't know the etiquette yet, the rules of the road, as it were, and you plug into the only rapid in town, and then you leave your car for an hour while you go do your shopping on your really slow charging hybrid, it's just more evidence that we need better education, friendliness in the community, people talking to people, and everybody kind of getting up to speed. And I'm sure that if people found out, actually, look, I'm really desperate for a charge, I need 20 minutes and I'll be on my way, that, they'd be happy to wait, but people just don't know. And then I think hybrid drivers, therefore, get bad press unfairly. So maybe that's something that we can all help with and raise the level of education in the community. Final story before we get on to your question of the week, and that is second-use batteries for Audi, which is kind of funny. Bear with me, because Audi aren't really selling full EVs yet, so they haven't really mastered first-use batteries, but factory tugs, things that tow things around factories, in Audi's Ingolstadt factory now have the latest in lithium-ion batteries, and apparently they're second-hand ones. According to Eric at Green Car Reports, automakers are on the hook in many jurisdictions around the world to take back and properly reuse or even recycle all the batteries they install in electric cars. And various automakers are looking at different models and different ways to reuse the depleted batteries that are no good for cars anymore, because a car needs to pull, 40, 50, 60, 90 kilowatts of power, delete as appropriate for whatever performance car you've got. But actually, in second life, they don't need that level of power. They can get more use out of them. So Audi are installing them on forklifts and factory tugs to move parts around the Ingolstadt factory in Germany. Audi are putting 24 of the e-tron's 36 battery models into identically sized trays and giving these forklifts and these trucks between 30 and 50 kilowatt hours of battery capacity, depending on how much the cells have degraded in their original cars. Charging hardware, the same as that you get in the car, are being installed so they can charge the commercial vehicles in the factory nice and easily. I'm wondering where these batteries are coming from. The only cars really they can take them from are the Audi e-trons, which are the plug-in hybrids, again pretty small batteries. But are any of those coming off the roads to have second-use batteries? Here in the UK, at least, those hybrid cars had big tax incentives against them to be company cars. And many of them, again, controversial subject, have never been plugged in. People lug these batteries about just with the engine running all the time because they, for tax purposes, made sense for companies to buy them, but didn't even, in some cases, educate their employees who had these company cars, or in others they did, but they were like, well, I'm not having a charger fitted at home and I'll never charge it. So where are Audi getting these second life batteries from that are supposedly degraded and no good for cars anymore? Because the e-tron hasn't even been on sale for that many years, and they've certainly got no full electric cars that have been on the market for 10 or 12 years, and then now, the bodies are rusting away but the batteries are still good. So I wonder where they get them from. The article doesn't exactly make clear. Audi, I'd love to know. Let's get on to question of the week, and here we go with your answers to this week's question, which was a bit of fun, if I'm honest with you. I was asking you, if we were to put a slogan on a t-shirt, what would it be to say something about electric cars? So, David Finch gave me a few. Fossil fuels are history, electric's the future. Burning liquid dinosaurs to make your car go, that's prehistoric. And breathe easy, no smells at my rear. David, I like the last one, but it could be misconstrued. Hello to Arod Gierskalsveen, who says, go with the sun, the wind and the rain, it's electric. Robin Edwards says, the end of the ice age is nigh. And alternatively, AC/DC, let there be charge. I like that one. Rock and roll fans will like that one. Hello to Nikos Jansen, who says, live the dream, drive on sunshine. Yeah, I like that one too. It's a positive message and encompasses the essence of why he and his fiancée have gone electric. John Fruith says, fast forward electromagnetically. Oh, I like that one as well. It's snappy. Hello to Jamie Priest. I'm no longer ripped off by big oil. I drive electric. Oh, that one's kind of slightly political, but I like it. Joshua Pritt says, hey, auto manufacturers, I'll never drive a gas car again. Electric only for me from now on. Hashtag, no plug, no deal. There's a lot there. Look, I think, Joshua, make the font small on that one. You've got loads. Hello to Steve Peace in Texas, who's gone the other way. You could put this in big letters. MPG, lol, LOL. I like that. You could even put one on the front and one on the back, maybe MPG, LOL. I like that. That's so cool. Patrick Reynolds says, I'm plugged in. What about you? Very good. Glenn Mason says, I'm charging the future. Ooh, I like that. That's got several meanings. Hello to Howdy, who says, real EVs have plugs. I like that one. You know why. Bob Cook says, he has a picture of a home in a mains outlet, and the slogan below that picture says, this is my gas station. Yeah, that's good. And hello to Mia. Mia Oppelstrup, one of our supporters, says, remember, there's no such thing as a self-charging hybrid. Actually, lots of people said that, but Mia was first, so I had to include it at the end. You know what? If it were popular, I should do like a Twitter vote or something. How can I do a vote with all of those? Because Twitter only allows you a few different options. If you know any like software or something I can use, or like a website, let me know. And maybe we'll put them to the vote, and the winner, I'll have it made. I'll make the winner, and I'll send it out to, I don't know, some of our Patreon supporters, or I'll have some made up for the Fully Charged live shows in the UK and the US. That'd be very cool. Well, let's set a brand new question of the week, and here we go. Thanks to myev.com, another question of the week. Keep your comments coming in throughout the week. Whenever you think of something, then you can email me. Here is the brand new question of the week. How would you like to be billed for charging your electric car when you're on the move? How would you like to be billed for charging your electric car when you're on the move? Now, that's a great question, actually, because there's several ways of doing this. So there's key fobs, there's charge cards. That's pretty useful because in one account you can then look back and see all of your charges. I do that with a couple of cards. I don't have like a wallet full, but I have a few. Would you like just to tap your pay-as-you-go card on the front of the machine? I do that with there's the motorway network here in the UK. It's called the Electric Highway, owned by an electricity company called Ecotricity. So when I use those ones, I have a debit card set up and it just links to my bank account. But if I'm doing, like I'm doing actually a minute, quite a bit of travelling for various bits of work that I'm doing, as you know, I packed in my full-time career to do podcasting full-time, and so I'm using Electric Highway a bit. I'm on the motorways quite a lot at the moment as I'm kind of going around seeing various people, and I don't mind that. But then at the end of the month, my bank statement gets a bit clogged up with EV charges, which is fine, they're all on my bank account, but would you perhaps prefer some sort of account where you pay monthly and it all kind of adds up, and then once a month the money comes out? Would you like it to be centralised? Let me know. There's not one answer to this, so I'd be really, really curious to hear what you have to say. Maybe you would like it in some way connected to your home electricity bill, so that you just pay one bill for your home and your out and about electricity. That's a different way of thinking about it. So I'd love to hear from you. What's the ideal way for you to pay for rapid charging when you are out and about? I'm looking forward to your comments. You can email me hello@evnewsdaily.com. Leave a comment on MyEV, on Facebook, and on the YouTube comments as well, because we put the audio, even though this is a podcast, we put the audio on YouTube. Well, there are 203 patrons of the podcast whose generosity keeps us going. Hello to our premium partners, Phil Roberts of Electric Future. Hello to Paul Hussey from electricmotoring.net. I say Paul, but really, that's his company. But the thing I want to get across is electricmotoring.net. If you're in the Chicago area, Paul has one of each, an S, an X, a 3. And you can hire his Teslas. He does it through Turo, through his own website, and I'm sure that when the Y is on sale at the end of next year, he'll be adding a Model Y. I have no doubt about it. He's been on the podcast before, and he's a very sound guy. So check out electricmotoring.net. Hello to Brad Crosby as well, our third premium partner of the podcast, and Brad supports the work that I do here on the podcast. He's got nothing to promote. He just wants to, as many people do, support the work we're doing for clean air and sustainable transport. Hello to the partners of the show, David Allen. Hello to OEM Audio of New Zealand and evpower.co.nz. Hello to Sasha Pallenberg. Hello to John, who's Beardy McBeardface on the socials, and he runs Kent EVs. And hello to Paul O'Connor as well. And all of our executive producers, who I give a mention to once a week: Alan Robson, Alex Banahini, Alexander Frank, Ariel Giesch-Galsveen, Ashley Hill, Bjard Fuchstak, Barry Penniston, Bob Muir from GingerComputers.com, Borislav Borisov, Brent Kingsford, Brian Thompson, Brian Weatherall, Brian Young, Cesar Trujillo, Chris Benson, Chris Hopkins, Craig Coles, Craig Rogers, Damien Davis, Darren Bird, Darren Sant, Dave Jewson, David Barkham, David Finch, David Partington, David Prescott, Dirk Rutsatz, Don McAllister from Screencasts Online, Enrico Stefan Schillo. Hello to Frederick Rovick, George Clargo, Jack Oakley, James Storr, Jason Fan, Jeff Urbies, Jerry Allison, John Bailey, John Nodell, John Timmis, Juan Gonzalez, Ken Morris, Kevin Mayerson, Lars Dallagher, Lawrence D. Allen, Leger Grill, Louis Hopkin, Luke Cully, Marcel Lohman, Marcel Ward, Martin Croft and Matt Piccioni. Hello to Matthew Ellis, Matt Gribby, Maz Shah, Maz Shah, Michael Pastroni. Hello to Mike Rogers, Mike Winter, Neil E. Roberts from Sussex EVs. Hello to Paul Seeger-Smith, Paul Stevenson, Pete Glass, Phil Mouchet, Philippe Calvet, Raj Badwell, Rajiv Narayan, Renee Schneider, Rob Cooling, who has his own EV driving instruction business, appledriving.co.uk. Hello to Rod James, Rupert Mitchell, Sarah McCann, Scott Callahan, Seiki Payne, Steve John, Stuart Hanna, The Limousine Line in Sydney, Walter McVeigh and Zach Hurst. There are 417 previous shows online for you to get for free if you want to. And breathe. If you want to subscribe to new ones, you can indeed get the brand new podcasts first and free and automatically hit that subscribe button. And if you have 2 minutes to leave a little review, that would be amazing. In the meantime, get our question of the week up and running by contacting me or through the socials, Facebook, LinkedIn and Twitter by searching EV News Daily. Have a wonderful day. I'll catch you tomorrow. And it's not yet on a t-shirt, but it might be. Remember, there's no such thing as a self-charging hybrid.